Damn it, I wasn't recording. Okay, I bought some toilet paper, some Greek yogurt, some whipped mayonnaise, whatever, some granola, some ice cream, some coffee, some creamers, some dog food, some salad dressing, and some cabbage. And all of that came to just say $34. Okay? So yeah, I wasn't intending on spending that much. I was not. And I wasn't intending on buying so much, treats. I was not. However, I figured I deserve a break because, I have been fasting from coffee, and I did so good. I did so good. I think I went at least 5 days without coffee. At least. And I'm very proud of myself for doing it too. Because I'm going to tell you, when you're used to drinking coffee every day, to try to stop drinking coffee is complicated. For sure. Very complicated. Of course, I was running low on toilet paper. I've already, I'm scraping by with a few bit of, paper towels, and I've been using napkins instead of, actual paper towels. And, so trying my best to be as frugal as possible, right? And it's hard, to be absolutely frugal, right? Because in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can go get a half-price Slurpee, because it's so hot, Glad I didn't. The ice cream that I bought was the chocolate mint chip was $2.95. And that, the only thing is my problem is, I can eat a whole pint and still think that I'm cutting back, right? I can eat a whole 3 pints and know that I overdid it, but won't feel bad about it. So anyway, yeah. I definitely had to buy the toilet paper. I was going to buy the toilet paper online. And the one thing I don't like about buying stuff online and then having to put up with the substitutions that they give you, or, if they can't find neither one, then you don't get none of it. So that's one of the reasons why I said, let me just go to the store myself, because I have went online. I knew I had to buy some toilet paper. I'm down to like a half a roll of toilet paper in the house. And I was going to go ahead and buy it online and have it sent to, delivered to the house. And decided against that. I said, I need to go to the store and pick up actually what is available. That way I know, that I'm going to get what I got. Now, most of the time I do get what I select, especially if it's a non-sale product. But like when you're trying to get the specials or the deals that they got going on online, they run out of those. And so then you end up not realizing that because you didn't get that deal, you're going to get a substitute that is not what you wanted. Say, well, that's just normal. I guess so. If you got that kind of, margin of calculation that, something that you had expected to pay for. And if it's just one thing, you're still going to have to pay more, But, I don't know. There was this guy that was in the store, and he said, thank God for bread. And I said, yes. I said, then I followed it with, somebody had to be doing some embezzlement somewhere that we got to this stage, where we got to thank God for bread. He was an elder man. And he probably, has worked his whole life, thought that retirement was, his reward, and come to find out, retirement ends up just looking like being on welfare. And you gotta thank God for bread. But sure, we thank God for our daily bread, yes. Anyway, I had loved the idea of doing this, tea thing, right? And yet, a package of tea costs more than the coffee that I buy. And I'm like, wow, are you serious, right? The tea is going to cost more than the coffee, right? If I would have bought the tea that I was looking for. Now you can buy cheap tea and and stuff like that, right? And you're still gonna pay about $3. You might get 50 packages. If you buy the cheapest tea that you can find, might come like 100 to a pack. You might spend like $4.50. Okay? But the cheaper the tea, and who knows, I might go that route. Now, especially that I know I can add, pieces of ginger and doctor it up with some clove and give it a bite, But I'm telling you, when I seen that coffee, that espresso coffee, yes, the espresso, a 6-ounce pack of espresso coffee for $3, I was like, yep, I'm gonna buy that, right? And the creamer was on a special price of $2.50. Actually, it's 40 something, but you know, I like to round my numbers, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. That's $5. I spent $5 on a creamer, which is caramel macchiato, and some coffee, and I can drink for days. And I'm looking forward to drinking for days, right? Because I'm gonna make me a pot now when I get home and put it in the refrigerator so I can have some iced coffee. Now, if it doesn't hit me the same way that it used to, then, you know, probably come next month, I think this coffee will last me a good, you know, until next month. I think then I'll probably go back and try to find some tea, because I really did get into, you know, the lemongrass tea. I liked it both hot and cold, especially when I added the ginger and the cloves. It just it tasted good, and I feel like I didn't have as much mucus that I get when I drink coffee. When I drink coffee, I think it produces a certain mucus in my body that, you know, I don't have now, but that I have when I do drink coffee. So, yeah, and I bought me some little candy treat bars. I bought me some Greek yogurt. I bought me some granola. And this granola only cost me like $2.50 something odd cents. You know, as opposed to the granola that I have at home, which was enhanced protein granola, which cost me almost $6. So that's something that, you know, I could either incorporate that come the end of the month, you know, come the end of the month, I might have to, you know, switch to maybe cheaper brands and less healthier brands. But, you know, I could try to plan where the first 3 weeks, you know, I'm at least, you know, maximizing, you know, the nutrition of the things that I eat. Does that make sense? So, what that tells me is, if I hold off at least, if next month's budget, if next month's food budget is going to be $175, then I should probably save $25 to $30 for that last week. That way, you know, I may need some things, but those things don't have to be the healthiest, right? So kind of, you know, buying the healthiest stuff and plan those out for the first 3 weeks, last 10 days, you know, not worry about filtering in less than healthy or ideal things. In moderation, of course, if possible. If possible. So basically what that means is if I have $175, then I'll have only $145 for 20 days. And then $30 for the last 10 days to incorporate, you know, some of the more bulk buying that I had did with the $140 in order to save money. Like that. You see? It's definitely a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. It's a challenge that I promise you, you know, I'm not used to. But, you know, since I was in the store and I had to get toilet paper, you know, I went ahead and I bought like $33. And I really shouldn't have to, you know, need to go to the store anymore until August. Because the caffeine that we get from like soda pop, you know, I can get that from iced coffee. For sure. For sure. And cutting down on my caffeine, I believe that it had made me feel good because, you know, caffeine will raise your blood pressure. You know, you can sit around and drink, you know, sugar-free or zero cola all day long and not even realize, you know, the effect that it has on your blood pressure. So yeah, we did our quarter-mile walk. Snoopy did a great job. She did a fantastic job. That's one of the reasons why I went ahead and bought her some canned food, because the canned food is it's at least wet. You know, at least it's wet. As far as my protein mix, I have some other protein mix that I don't like as much, and it doesn't have as much protein in it. I still have, you know, protein supplement that I can use. It's not chocolate flavored, it's vanilla flavored. And it's got the chalky taste. Not chocolate, but chalky, like chalk. Which is one of the reasons why I don't like it as much. So I'm not like at a complete deficit as far as, you know, if I was to make a protein shake. Now, who says I can't make me a protein shake with some mint flavored, mint chocolate chip ice cream? Who said I can't? And even if you say I can't, who's gonna stop me? Nobody. I sort of felt like, I needed to, reward myself. Felt like I was suffering a little bit. So I don't have no regrets about buying, some treats.